Hello, welcome to
Hello,
another BS conversation.
thank you. Glad to waste my time once more with you.
Yes, you'll be even more gladder after you know the points of discussion.
Can't
It's
wait.
but thankfully I think we have some interesting topics today. Uh, Actually, it's one of the topics that is very close to both of us. We both love GT Sport.
Yes, indeed.
We can say we are GT Sport enthusiasts.
Yes. As
Um,
you as you educated me in the last episode, that is the correct PC word to use.
yes. GT Sport.
So for our listeners, just a clarification that GT Sport is a video game which is played on the PlayStation console. It's a
Yeah,
it's a racing simulation game where you can drive cars around popular tracks around the world and earn achievements and such.
yes. So GT stands for Gran Turismo, and it has been on every PlayStation since PlayStation 1. It is the longest running franchise on PlayStation. Did you know this?
Oh, that's good to know. I never knew that.
Yes. The creator's name is. I hope I don't pronounce it wrong, but it's Kazunori Yamauchi.
Yes, that's how I pronounce it too, at least.
Yes, and we are not Japanese. So,
Try saying
uh,
that with an accent. Maybe it would sound
no.
more authentic.
No. Let's not get cancelled before we start. So, since I think I'll have a longer answer to this question, which I'm about to ask you, so I'll let you start on this question. What is your history with the Gran Turismo game? What was the first game you played? How you came about it, and yeah, how much do you like it, and what are some of the defining things for you?
Okay, so I was introduced to this game by you, of course, before
Yes,
that was around 2018 or 19, I guess. Not sure. Or
I
17.
think
Yes,
19.
it's yeah, 19. Yeah, that would be it. Yep. So I was already a fan of racing games, specifically car racing, but I didn't really play simulation games, so to speak. I was more into arcade racers like Need for Speed, Burnout, and other similar games. So this was my first proper simulation racing game, and at first glance, I was blown away by the graphical quality of the game. The cars were super real, and if you recorded a game and saw it later on, it felt like you were watching a real cars go around the track. So that really stood out for me at first. And the other thing which later I got to know is that it is a very popular game amongst proper racers who actually drive in real life. So they actually spend time on this game and set up their own rigs and set their own records and such.
You know the brand ambassador for Gran Turismo for the last 4 years? Who is that?
Lewis Hamilton, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know who was the brand ambassador before him?
No idea.
Can you take a guess?
Um, Nico Rosberg.
No. It was Sebastian
Oh, nice.
when he was winning with Red Bull.
I guess I
Yeah.
became a GT Sport player once Lewis Hamilton stepped in. It was meant to be.
Yes.
And I didn't even know that he was the brand ambassador at the time. I got to know a lot later when I started to see that Lewis Hamilton upgrade pack for the game, where you can basically race against his time and see if you're better or not.
Did you do the challenge?
Not really. I didn't get that pack. There's no point racing against a proper driver.
I have heard that it's pretty easy. I've not personally gone
Yes,
at it.
I've heard that too from
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
Nice. So the irony in the statement that you said that I introduced you to Gran Turismo Sport, which is the latest game. up till now, because Gran Turismo 7 comes out next month, which is one of the reasons why we have this topic, is that
Yes.
I recommended you Gran Turismo Sport at a time when I did not have a PlayStation 4
Yes.
and I did not have a GT Sport myself.
Yes. Yes.
So, are you? Sorry, I interrupted you there. Anything left?
No. I was pretty much done. I was about to add that this current version was the first version I started playing, but you already mentioned it.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So now, the long-winded answer by me.
Yep.
So I remember I bought my first PlayStation. I did not have a PlayStation as growing up. Simple. We used to play those NES, SNES, and PC games as well. But never had a PlayStation at home because parents thought studies were important. So the first thing I did when I started earning reasonably well was to buy a PlayStation for myself. Because
I
why not?
guess they were right because maybe because of that you started earning reasonably well.
Let's not go there. I was playing games anyway. Right? If anything, because I played games on PC, not pirating, but changing some of the game files, which modding basically. So once I delved into modding the games a little bit, that is what drew my interest into programming itself.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think it worked out pretty well that way, that I started with PC. Because if you have a bad PC, which I had obviously, and you try running good games, you have to lower the settings and overclock your GPU and cure the bottleneck of your CPU and 10 other things.
Yes,
Right?
that was basically the common scenario for almost every, at least Indian gamer who's on a budget at the time. I clearly remember doing those exact same things
Yes.
on my PC as well.
Yes, that was like a huge protocol that you had to follow for being able to play a game. I still remember when the Most Wanted blew my brain away because it was so good looking.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll have that diversion later. But coming back to this thing, so I did not have a PlayStation growing up, but one of my friends throughout school had a PlayStation, right? And he had a PlayStation 3 to be exact. So I used to go to his place sometimes, and that is where I played Uncharted for the first time. He's a I no longer I'm no longer in contact with him, but I think he used to play a lot of COD, and the first Uncharted was Uncharted 2 that I played on his console, right? Which the Uncharted 2 has the epic intro. So that was one of the things, and then I played Gran Turismo. But the thing was, Gran Turismo was the only game that I picked up the controller and it felt natural. You know, all of us were sitting there, 5 of us. We tried our turns for a race, and I was the one who got the best result out of the 5. So, the controls felt much more natural. So I always wanted to try that on a console of my own. So I got a PlayStation 3. I got it at the end of its life cycle in 2012 or no, not 12. I think 16, when PS4 was out. Almost. Was it 2016 or 2017? I think I bought a super slim version of PS3, and I
Okay.
had a friend I met in Comic Con who also owned a PlayStation 3. So since I spent almost all my salary, that is how little I earned. So I spent almost all my salary buying a PlayStation 3. I had no money left to buy the games. So he basically gave some of his games to me, and he was coming from Mumbai, so he bought some used games from a shop called CX. One of those games was Gran Turismo 5, which he gave to me because he didn't play it, his brother didn't play it, and since I loved Gran Turismo from the start, that GT5 game was amazing. That was the first time I saw the track Nordschleifer. I would have never known that track existed had I not played that game. So
Same.
so
Same for me.
Yes. In your case, I brute forced you to drive on that track. I remember
Yep.
your first reaction after playing for one lap was, damn, my fingers hurt. It's a funny reaction.
That is true.
Yes.
For a real driver, I think not just the fingers, the whole body will hurt like hell.
It's a nightmare for drivers, and apparently it is the ultimate test for endurance.
Yeah.
So what the thing was, this is so the founder of or the creator of Gran Turismo said he didn't want 100% realism. You can always go out and drive a car, right? He wants the perfect level of realism to make it not look silly, but at the same time, uh, educate you on the car knowledge. Along with that, the heritage of cars, the whole car culture that we have, right? We have exports, tuners, we have stocks, we have supercars, hypercars. All these terms that people know, most of us know, they are because we played Gran Turismo. Otherwise, no one would know all of these things. Sorry. And yeah, so there was a segment which was, I still remember it, which was a Mercedes sponsored event in Gran Turismo 5, which is more of more of a learning school for Nordschleifer, right? So that is what I played, and I still remember the first time I tried, I couldn't make the first corner, which is just a left-hander you take on in the second gear, but I could not make the first corner, right? So I grinded through, and slowly and steadily I learned the little bit of the track, and that is how I played Gran Turismo 5. Then I saved some money and bought my own Gran Turismo 6. And because I had to return his disc. And that Gran Turismo 6, I've put in more than 500 or 600 hours, I think. And I 100%ed it almost. But the servers were closed, so I couldn't get a platinum for it. Back then, I was not even into the platinums. And I really wanted a Gran Turismo Sport to play on PlayStation 4, but I didn't have a PlayStation 4 back then. That is why I was asking you to enjoy Gran Turismo for me. I cannot enjoy it. Please, you do. Don't miss out on that game if you have a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And that game still holds up.
Yeah.
Even today.
True.
More or less, Gran Turismo 7, which is going to come out, is 20% better in the whole environment and the feel thing. Apart from that, it's mostly GT Sport. So yeah, I fell in love. I've put in more than, I don't know, 600, 700 hours in GT Sport by now. Both offline and online. I'm a 48 level driver. Do you remember your level? Offline.
I can't say that I do, but I think we can check on some online tool, right?
That is for online rating.
Yeah, then I don't remember really.
Yeah, so I recently, I was playing it last week only, and I think I went 45 or 44, right? There's a trophy you get after 50, which I don't think I'm going to make it to.
I think I might probably be in the early 20s.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, but it's amazing. I just love Gran Turismo. And that was my long-winded 7-minute answer to the question. So my first moment of Gran Turismo that hooked me in was that Nordschleifer event. It was an academy event in Gran Turismo 6.
Okay.
6 or 5, I think. One of those. Yeah. So, have you seen the trailer for Gran Turismo 7?
Yes, I saw it when it first released, around the time when PS5 was announced. I haven't seen any new trailer if something has been released recently. I'm not sure.
So, what if I blow your mind? Let me tell you some of the features that they are promising for GT 7. and you
Okay.
give me a sort of a live reaction on it,
Okay.
right?
Excited.
So let's get the most generic ones out of the way. It's going to have god level ray tracing. Okay, it's a super shiny reflective game.
Okay.
Okay, anything that can reflect will reflect, and it's going to run on I think 4K 60 and 2K 120.
Okay.
By 120 I mean 120 frames, and 60 I mean 60 frames.
Yeah.
That is one of the things. But apart from that, so now we have dynamic time in the game.
Okay.
So you can have a race that starts at night, okay,
Okay.
and after 2 laps, it starts to rain,
Ah.
and then after 2 laps, it starts to dry, and then it's morning.
So it's a realistic environment, basically.
Yes, they have a day-night cycle along with weather, and for weather, they have taken the weather data from NASA's satellite,
Ah.
so that the clouds look realistic.
Nice.
They're not just generating some random white puffy clouds. These are actually scanned satellite images and the data received from NASA's satellite, which they're going to place in the game.
That's nice and all, but why would people care about what clouds look like when it's a car racing game? I hope
I
the
mean,
balance of the cars is good.
by clouds, I mean it will have a realistic weather cycle. So, for example, like if you have a track in Delhi, I'm just giving a hypothetical. You won't suddenly see snowfall in Delhi,
Yeah,
right?
that's
That
true.
kind of realism, even for the virtual tracks,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And I think the temperature drop is also going to affect the grip on the track,
Okay.
and they are going to have drying lines
Oh,
after
nice.
rain.
That would be
So
interesting.
that's that. They are going to have better collisions.
Nice.
Collisions are going to damage more.
Nice.
Cars are going to be more finished. There are some exclusive cars that are available right off the bat, but I think a lot more coming. The most amazing thing about Gran Turismo games are the life cycle goes on for like 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
So that's that. Apart from that, I think yes, the GT Sport, the sport part of GT Sport, I think will migrate to Gran Turismo 7. How do you feel about that?
I think that's great. I am excited for the graphical updates. I also hope there'll be a lot more new fun cars to drive and the cars are well balanced. And most importantly, I hope the multiplayer is improved, because my last experience with multiplayer racing was very debatable, very, I would say, slightly disappointing.
But you know what? I played like half a dozen races online last 2 weeks, right? And I think they have improved the penalty system.
Okay.
I think you should give it another try. I think they've worked on it, and it's seemingly much better now. People who ram you off the track suddenly, and then you are getting the penalty. Those things don't happen that often.
Ah, nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah. So I think they have improved it there, because I think they had one too many accidents on their live coverage. So apparently Gran Turismo had a couple of fails on their live stream. So they do these international events, right?
Yeah.
With live races on YouTube. But some of those events on their live coverage, it so happened that two of their competitors rammed each other off the track and the wrong person got the penalty. And the culprit did not even get a penalty. So I think that was a little bit too embarrassing for them. Oh, there's one thing we left out.
Okay.
Have you heard of Sophie? Have you heard this term lately?
No, not really. I've heard of Sophia, which is that AI robot, I think.
Yes, it's not Sophia, it's Sophie.
Oh, it's Sophie. Okay.
In which context? Which robot?
The one with the face that can talk like a human. The physical robot which is comprised of just a face which can.
No. Let me blow your mind once again. So,
Okay.
SOPHY, Sophie, was something that was released by Sony AI in,
Okay.
I think, in the last couple of weeks. So, it is a collaboration between Polyphony Digital and Sony AI team, Sony Global AI team. And they have made an AI for Gran Turismo, which is unbeatable.
And they have made an AI what?
They have made an AI called Sophie for Gran Turismo,
Okay.
which is unbeatable. No one can beat it. Not even the pro rank drivers, not even the top tier drivers. It's like the Dark Souls of racing games. You should see it. There's a video out on Gran Turismo and Polyphony's channel, even the Sony channel. They go into great detail about how they what challenges they faced, but they wanted to make a POC for this, proof of concept, that they can develop a AI which can learn to drive the circuits in the most optimal way.
Oh, nice.
And they have placed some of their top ranked drivers against it one-on-one, and they have got the video on their channel, and they can't keep up. They are like the 1, 2, 3, 4 ranked players are like 1.5 or 2 seconds away from Sophie.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's not a small amount, and those guys are considered aliens. So I think you should check it out. You'll like it, the thought process and the failures they were discussing that went behind designing this.
Yep, definitely.
I hope they release for general public, but for us, even the pro rank people are Sophie. So yeah, that was one of the most interesting things that they released. It was a good collab. So, anything to add about Gran Turismo or games in general?
Nothing. Looking forward to the new version. I think the pre-booking has already started. I'll wait
Yes.
probably a bit more just to get the prices a bit down, hopefully.
No.
And then I'll book one for myself.
No.
Or you could always gift one to me. That's
No.
always an option.
I added to my cart what do you say, the pre-booking registration thing, and then I deleted it from my cart as well yesterday. I'm struggling to gift it to myself. So yeah, every time I add it to my cart, I'm like, well, Gran Turismo Sport is also good enough. But yeah, I think I'll buy it most probably like 1 week before. It's still like 2 weeks out. And the worst part is that if I pre-book now, the release date in India is 4th of March, and they'll be delivering it by 15th of March. They've said the delivery date is between 5th and 15th.
Okay.
Which I don't know. Might as well just wait.